Hey guys. Oh, how are ya? Ralph Perez here. Horror and coffee. Hold on. There's a little bit of a delay. Ralph Perez here. And I'm going to make sure that I don't hear myself, right? So I am here and I am right now here in Horror and Coffee, and this is Coffee with Ralph. I did a kind of like a pilot of this about a week ago, and what I decided to do was, as I keep getting used to the whole live streaming thing, I decided, you know what? Let me try to do this at least once a month for now. Now, as for those of you who know me well, I do movie reviews of horror films. I also do Star Wars, I do collectibles, I do things of that nature. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing, tap on that bell for future notifications for future horror and coffee content. I'm glad that the three of you that are here right now, which is Unboxing, Tony Movie Chat, and myself, actually, because I'm watching myself on the iPad to see who is in the chat and who I can like exchange words with. Bear with me, guys. This is a new kind of thing for Horror and Coffee that I want to integrate. The idea is this. I do all these videos and everything, but I never really do live stuff. Now, for those of you who know Alex and Levels of Geeks, there's a lot of live stuff going on. Sometimes I'm on it, sometimes I'm not. I'm doing horror files with Alex, and those are great, and I want to continue to do those things, and I really enjoy it. But I figured, you know what, maybe I could try to do a little something here for Horror and Coffee for my channel. So here it is, Coffee with Ralph, right? And it'll be every second Thursday night of the month. I'll just leave it at that. Now, of course, these things are subject to change because life happens and things happen, right? So there's that. So I figured, one of the things we do is that I hope you have your coffee ready because I want to chat over coffee. I have mine right here. It's special. I'm going to show you right now in a few minutes. I'm going to show you in a few minutes what I have. But in the meantime, the idea is that not only do we talk horror, we can talk anything you want, actually. If you want to talk about anything, you can ask me questions. You can do, it doesn't even have to be horror related. I want this to be kind of like your time to talk, your time to chat, your time to give me input, what you would like to see, even sometimes on Horror and Coffee. I might want to ask you some questions about what I could do to better the channel. There's a lot going on. So, but for the most part, it's kind of like a free fall, a free spirited, freestyle kind of exchange. The idea, though, is that I pick a particular topic and we kind of start with that and then we see where that goes. Today's topic, favorite slashers, as you can see right here. Okay. The slashers of horror. There are many more than the pictures that you see here, but these are the ones that come to mind the most when people start thinking horror movie slasher films, right? When you think horror movie slasher, usually these are the ones that come to mind initially. Okay, there are others, many more, but these are the ones that seem to be the top billing, the grandfathers, so to speak, the godfathers, so to speak, of the whole concept of the slasher genre. All right, let's see what we got here. We got I was just working on Levels of Geeks memes, episode 1. No, episode 10. Can't wait to release it soon. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Unboxing. I am looking forward to seeing it. Let me ask you guys a question. For those few of you who are here. Are you drinking any coffee right now? Come on. I want to know. Are you drinking coffee? I'm drinking coffee. Kinda. I'm gonna share with you what I got. Ready? Oh, the worst slasher film I've seen so far has to be Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. I agree. I wasn't crazy about that remake. The original, far, far better. All right. So here's my coffee cup, right? And I'm gonna go to the full page here so you could see me in my full extent. And here's my coffee cup. Now, what I have here is not just regular coffee. What I have here, I was in the store, I was in the supermarket picking up some stuff, and I came across it, and I heard about it on TV, and I said, "Ew, I don't know if I would like that." But I saw it, and I said, "You know what? I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna save it until the live stream, so I could share it with you guys to see what I think about it." Ready? Okay. What I have here is Coca-Cola coffee with coffee, vanilla flavored, zero sugar. Yeah. Like I'm like I just saw the zero sugar part. It says great Coca-Cola taste blended with rich, luxurious coffee. Since when did coffee become luxurious? That's a strong word to use to describe coffee, don't you think? Well, in any case, I have it here. I haven't opened it yet. I'm about to open it. Look, for those of you who have known me forever, I love Coca-Cola. I've loved soda. I mean, I used to like drink that all the time in my 20s. Now, not so much. I got to be careful with that. It's kind of dangerous to be at my age and drink that much soda. But there are times when I still have some, sometimes a little bit of soda here and there don't hurt. So I'm going to give this a taste. And I'm going to open it right now. I'm going to pour it in my cup because I don't like drinking from the can. There. I just opened it. You hear the fizz? You hear the fizz? All right, here we go. Here's the cup. I'm going to pour it in. You hear that? You hear the fizz? Oh, God, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Because, first of all, isn't there enough caffeine in Coca-Cola to begin with? Now you're going to put coffee in it to make it what? Will this keep me up all night? I guess we'll find out. My wife won't be happy if I do that, but I'm gonna give it a shot. All right, here it is. Here's mud in your eyes, guys. Coffee and Coca-Cola mixed in here on Coffee with Ralph. So here's to you. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, okay. What I'm tasting here is definitely wait. Oh snap! Actually, it's not bad. I don't think it's great, but you can taste the coffee. You can taste that bitterness mixed with sweet of the coffee bean, like that cocoa kind of thing, the cocoa bean. I'm not kidding. I'm not. I'm really trying to be critical and detailed here. This isn't bad, especially for 0 calories. I have no guilt. However, the caffeine content must be through the roof. So if I kill over, please somebody call an ambulance. This is good. Mm. Guys, what are you drinking? Are you drink? Do you have something to drink in your hand right now? Doesn't have to be coffee. I know I want it to be coffee. I get it. It's horror and coffee. But if you have a beer in your hand, hey, I'll take that. All right. Let's see. Let's look at the chat right now. We got like a couple of people. Taste test time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like those old commercials back in the day. Remember the ones back in the day when you had the Pepsi over here and the Coke over here, and they took the labels off and you didn't know which one it was, right? And there was the taste test. Which one did you like, Coke or Pepsi? I've liked both. I like both, but Coke has always been. I had a Pepsi phase in my mid-20s, and then I reverted back to Coke later on. Let's see. I got unboxing. I gotta be honest. I might be double dipping on Godzilla versus Kong and getting the Best Buy Steelbook and 3D Blu-ray copy. Two things about that. I saw that. I saw your post earlier today on Instagram unboxing about the release date of June 16th or something like that. Is that correct? About the Godzilla versus Kong. I have to admit though, um, I think the 3D is the 3D. is the video 3D or the cover 3D? Because if the movie is done in a 3D format, I wouldn't care too much for it because I think that 3D discs, in my opinion, is overrated. Nobody really gravitates towards that for different reasons, maybe. Me, I just don't feel like I need it. I think, like, fine, if I've gone to see movies in 3D in the theaters, and I kind of want to just keep it like that. If I put on the glasses, fine. But to have it at home, I don't know. I don't like that kind of constraint at home. I'd rather just watch it regularly. And let me tell you something. For the month that Godzilla vs. Kong was available on HBO Max, first I went, for those of you who don't know, I went to see it first in IMAX in the theater the day it was released. And then I went home and watched it again. And I saw it like, I think 3 more times after that. I saw it one final time, like the day before they removed it from HBO because it was only supposed to be on there for like 1 day, and it was great. I love. And when it comes out, you damn right I'm gonna buy it. Of course I'm gonna buy it. I have all of the Godzilla movies. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I many of the Godzilla movies from the Showa series from the 60s and 70s are available on HBO, but I don't literally have every copy on Blu-ray or on 4K. I have some. I have King Kong versus Godzilla. I have Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, and I have a few on DVD from the Heisei era, which was the era from the 90s. Godzilla versus Destroyer, Godzilla versus Ghidorah, you know those, and Godzilla versus Mothra, the Battle for Earth, I think it was called. So I have those. I have Shin Godzilla, which was the one that came out in 2016 in Japan, which was a complete different take on Godzilla that I never saw before, which I actually enjoyed. If you didn't see that version yet, I would strongly advise you to watch it. Looks like nobody else knows I'm here besides you guys, you two. I posted it on Twitter. I posted it on Instagram. I posted it on Facebook. I don't know what else to do. Maybe Thursday nights is downtime for everybody. Is there anybody else up? Coming out of your 3D TV? I don't. Again, 3D to me is just. It's a cool concept, but it's not a concept that sticks. It just doesn't. I remember when the first 3D discs came out and players came out, and they tried to really push that, but it didn't catch on. Really, it really didn't. The 4D, I'm sorry, 4Ks caught on, which I think is pretty good. All right, let's talk slashers here, since we've been on the slashers. Let's talk about our first guy. Let's talk about hold up for a second. I'll show you. Oh, not this. Excuse me. I'm going to share a screen with you. I'm going to share a screen, a picture. Actually, I'm not going to share this picture. What I do want to share, hold on. Actually, I need to do this. I'm sorry, guys. Again, I'm still new at this, but let me tell you, I appreciate your patience. All right, here we go. We got here Leatherface, right? Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in 1974. This film was kind of like almost the starting point of what we call the slasher genre. Mountain Dew. Oh, unboxing drinking a Mountain Dew Frostbite. Those things are packed with caffeine. Mountain Dew is like an energy drink in and of itself. So here's to you, unboxing. My goodness. Mm. All right. So, what do you guys think about this? Now, let me tell you what I know about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was first introduced to me by my old Horror and Coffee co-founder Vic, back when we were teenagers. He used to invite me over to his house and he used to show me clips of all of these movies, and this was one of them. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was so creepy. It was so terrifying that I didn't know how to react to it, because I never saw anything like that on regular TV at this point. They just didn't show that kind of stuff. Looking back, what I found very interesting was that how there was really barely any blood in the movie. It wasn't a gore fest like the 80s brought on. It definitely had it, but because the guy had a chainsaw, let's be real now. But and what he did to the bodies, what he did to the skin, it it uh it messed me up as a kid. And then looking back now on it, having seen the movie in its entirety, seen the remake, right, with Jessica Biel, that one, some people confused them because there was a few that came out in succession after the initial remake in the early 2000s. This one still holds the test of time as being a very disturbing film, and it didn't need the gore to do that. Okay, it was the mere suggestion and the acting. The girl at the end, when she managed to get away and she was just laughing herself deliriously like she went nuts. That was, like, you could almost, you have to you had to feel for the poor kid. She was a mess. She lost all her friends. They all got killed by Leatherface and his family. All right, and then to and the idea of what he did with their skin to create the mask that he did. Right, he dressed up. He was like a transvestite in a way. He dressed up in their skin, kind of like what's this guy's name? Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. It was almost the same concept, except this guy was not methodical. He was just simply out of his mind. Right, the only one who the family was the only people that was able to hold him down, and that was a very, very, very scary thing. Um, let's see. First Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a classic, and I even like the second one, but the sequel's not too much. This is Tony Movie. All right. I have a confession to make. I never saw the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the very second one, the one with the Breakfast Club type of poster that you see him on the top, like, like that. And there's a reason. I always saw that in the like video stores when I used to go rent, but I always overlooked it because I thought it was gonna be absolutely stupid because it looked stupid. I'm a sucker for first impressions. And when you show me a poster that looks like that, to me it appears to be more of a comedy than it does the horror fest that the original gave. The only thing is, I keep hearing things now about how good that really was. So I have to make it now. I have been thinking. I was like, you know what? I gotta watch. I gotta watch it now. All these years, right? All these years. It's been what, over 30 years since that movie came out. And now I decided I'm gonna watch it. Um, Tony Movie says I love the character of Leatherface. Personally, my second favorite slasher killer, up with Jason Voorhees. Well, you know what? Let's talk about Jason Voorhees for a minute. All right. Let's close up on this guy and go to my man Jason. Jason in the ha. If you give me a minute. The Friday the 13th series was definitely a what you call it? Like a follow-up to Halloween. Because Halloween was the thing that really popularized the notion, but it was Friday the 13th that really kind of made it a staple, if I have to say it like that. Hold up. There we go. Jason Voorhees, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Jason for a minute. Tribarro's here. Oh, thank you, Triborough, for joining. I'm so happy. Listen, spread the word. This is Coffee with Ralph. Triborough, let me catch you up to speed. I just tried, I don't know what you're drinking right now, but I just tried a Coca-Cola with coffee. It has coffee in it. Okay? Diet. It has zero sugar. But it tastes has the you could taste the coffee in the Coca-Cola. So that's what I'm drinking right now. Mm. And for the most part, it's not bad. Now, would I buy a whole pack of this? No. I prefer coffee just for coffee's sake. But you know what? Might keep me up tonight. I'm so glad you are here, Tribaro. I appreciate it. I hope other people show up soon. Spread the word. Hey, Ralph. Hey, everybody. Yo, Ralph is live right now. He never does that shit. Come on, come on, come on. I hope that happens. So anyway, I like to thank you all for that. Let's talk about Jason. We were talking. Our topic is slashers. We were just talking about old Leatherface. Now we're talking about Jason Voorhees. Look how they milked this. All right, you go to the original film, the one with Kevin Bacon in it, and it's Pamela Voorhees, the mother. That's the one that did all the killing. Okay, you have to be honest. How many people, when Pamela Voorhees showed up towards the end there, when she was all like, "Oh, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, a friend of the whatever, the name of the Christies or whatever that they were called." Um, how many people out there really didn't think that that was the killer? Because if you think about it, she showed up at the end. Like if she was all over the movie, you know how like in some movies, the most there's sometimes if the movie's really good, you wouldn't know that the person who's been doing the killing was really under your nose the whole time and was kind of there all the time. Like if she was there throughout the whole movie, it wouldn't would it have been easier to identify her as the killer? You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as she started talking about her son Jason and how he drowned while they were making love, right? Like, remember that whole speech she gave to Alice? If you think about that, you know, how can you not think she was the killer? At that point, I was like, oh my god, she was the one who did it. She was the one that's been killing all these people. And what a twist that was, right? There was no mask involved or anything. It was just her doing it. She didn't wear a mask. She wore a sweater, a thick one at that. So, you know, unboxing. I still need to see the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, we're oh god, that's so you dude. Unboxing, you're all over the place. You're jumping from Elm Street to the Bad Batch of Star Wars. We'll talk about the Bad Batch. Um, the first Friday the 13th, it was okay. Well, no, you gotta listen. Unboxing, you gotta see at least the next three. Triborough, favorite Friday the 13th sequel, Part 4, the final chapter. That one. Let me tell you the story. Sit around, kids. Sit around the fire. I'm going to tell you a story. That was the first movie I saw at night with a friend. You see, when I was a kid, anytime I went to the movies, I went with my family. I went with my mom. I went with my father. I went with my grandmother, you know, my sister, or whatever. All right, fine. But then when you enter the teenage high school years, things change, right? And growing up in the Bronx, there was this movie theater on the Grand Concourse called the Lowest Paradise Theater. Mm. And one Friday night in March 13th, actually, of 1984, myself and my friend Tony went to see Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. And I had a blast. It was like the best experience. You know, when you're 15 years old, yeah, it was. I actually saw a couple movies by myself before that. Actually, I saw Ghostbusters by myself. I saw Return of the Jedi a couple of times before that. So you know what? I'm BSing here. Yeah, there were a couple of times, but this one was different because it was at night. I always used to see the movie theater, go to the movies at daytime. This one was at night with my friend Tony, and there were people screaming in the theater and jumping out everything. Oh my god, popcorn flying all over the place. We had a good time. I had a good time. Um, I'll never forget it. And that's one of the, when you have that kind of an experience, it stays with you. Okay? Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter, that's not the only reason why it's my favorite sequel. It's my favorite sequel because it ended it well. It pissed me off when I went to see the following year part 5, and then they kept on coming up with these different stories later on. Part 6, part 7, he fights the psychic, he goes to Manhattan. Everything went to hell. Everything went to hell after that. That was bad for me. So yeah, that really sucked. Tribro said, I think the first Friday I saw was Jason Lives. Then I went back to watch the other films. Nah, man. All you have to do to really understand the true nature of Jason Voorhees, if you really want vintage Jason Voorhees, without all the flash and the funny stuff, because those later movies are funny. They're hysterical. They're not scary. They're funny. They make me laugh, right? Go from part 1, the original, to part 2, to part 3, to part 4. And then just stop there. If you want to keep watching, be my guest, but you're going to see how it changed radically after that. Okay? But there's a consistent flow of tone, of horror, of suspense in those first 4 films that are unmatched. I'm not kidding. I'm not. I really believe that. So I want you, check it out. So yeah, Jason, he carried us through the 80s with the machete and the mask and the all these years I thought it was like a HAHA. Now I find out that it's mama mama. Like mama. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that. That was something that I did not know. Okay, Tony Movie Chat. Unpopular opinion, but my favorite Friday the 13th movie is the remake. Very underrated horror remake. And it's even better if you watch the Killer Cut version. I did not see the Killer Cut version, but I'm going to tell you this right now, Tony Movie. I agree. It's a very well-made remake. I actually like the remake. The remake ain't bad at all. I was like, hey, you know what? This is pretty good. I kind of like what they did with it. There were different twists and they did some different stuff to it. But you know what I liked? I liked how they was able to take the first 3 films. Sorry, 3 films of the original Friday the 13th, and they kind of meshed them into one. You had the whole thing with the mom, right? In there. Then you had the whole thing when he had the kind of sack over his head with the one eye, and then you finally got the whole Friday the 13th part 3 thing when he's fighting the bikers in the barn. That was there, in the original Friday the 13th part 3. And you got a little bit of that again here. All right. And then there was different stuff. The only thing that was weird about it was how he caught that girl and kept her captive underground. That was the only part that I didn't understand. I'm like, why would he keep her? Why didn't he just kill her like everybody else? That's the part that I never got. I don't understand that. Like did she remind him of his mother? It kind of reminded me of Rob Zombie's Halloween. How Michael Myers held Laurie Strode in a place and didn't kill her, but like kept her. It's almost that kind of concept. Well, whatever. Mm. Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to buy this again, but it was worth a shot, right? Let's see what else we got here on the chat. Oh, unboxing. Are you going to see Spiral tomorrow? I just found out that Spiral comes out this weekend. I definitely want to go catch it this weekend. Actually, if you allow me, let's talk about Spiral for a minute. All right, before we get back to the slashers. Let's mix it up. Let's mix it up here. Let's see here. Let's talk about Spiral. All right. From the Book of Saw. Now, I don't know how many of you saw the Saw movies. I only saw like up to part 4. I didn't see the other ones after that because I heard that they were just god awful. Personally, I enjoy the first 3. The first 3 did it for me, and I think the reason why is because Jigsaw himself was personally still alive in those. He dies in the third one. Spoiler alert: he dies in the third one. So it's kind of like, how do you come back from that? All of a sudden there's tapes everywhere, right? Here's the other thing that worries me about this movie. I hope this movie succeeds. I hope this movie captures the original sense of the first film big time. I really want it to succeed. I don't want it to suck. I don't. But here is a problem. And I mentioned this before. I mentioned it to Alex in, I think, one of the Horror File shows. I told him, and I'm saying this to you, Chris Rock. I'm not saying Chris Rock is a bad actor. I think he's an excellent actor, but he's a comedian. So when I hear him talking, I'm hearing a comedian. I'm not hearing a detective on the case of a killer doing these jigsaw murders. It doesn't fit for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, imagine if imagine Rodney Dangerfield. Remember Rodney Dangerfield? He was an old comedian from back in the day doing a serious role as a cop like this in a movie like this. And you hear him go, "Hey, let me tell you something. I got no respect in this office. Hey, what's this? What is going on here? I'm trying to find this killer, and these guys are always making fun of my shoes." It sounds like, and so when I'm hearing Chris Rock talking like, "I gotta find out who the killer is," I'll be like, "Oh God, I don't know if this is gonna work." I want it to work. And I hope I'm wrong because Chris Rock, like I said, is an excellent actor, right? But for this kind of film, I mean, I understand the whole concept of typecasting, but it's scary because I'm like, I hope he succeeds in this. I hope that's part of the success of this film. I might be overreacting here. Maybe I'm underestimating his ability, and I will publicly apologize after I see this movie if that's the case. Let's see here. Unboxing. Yeah, I mean, maybe Chris Rock wants to do a change instead of doing comedy all the time, which makes sense. You don't want to be like typecasted in this kind of like bubble, right? And maybe Chris Rock is trying to break that bubble and come out of it so we get into more serious roles. And I hope he succeeds in that. I wish him the best. I hope this movie rocks it out. It comes out this weekend. Let's see what happens. I'm dying to find out what happens, right? I definitely want to see it. I'm gonna review it if I do get a chance to see it. It's so much easier. I don't think this movie. Does anybody know if it's coming out on HBO Max or on any other streaming platform, or is it just strictly theaters? I think it's just strictly theaters, right? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, Tribor, you could be right. He might surprise. I hope he surprises me. You know, I've seen him in so many other movies where it's funny. And now all of a sudden he comes out in something like this. I'm like, oh, would this work? I hope you're right. I hope he surprises the crap out of all of us because I like Chris Rock. I think he rocks. That's the name, right? All right. Oh, Spiral's only released in theaters? All right. I got to run to my movie theater, put on my mask, all that kind of stuff. Where is everybody? Where's the usual group? Nobody else knows I'm doing this? I feel so, I'm grateful for you guys that are here right now, sharing some company. Okay. Tribor, what are you drinking? I know Unboxing had some Sprite. Not Sprite. What's it called? Mountain Dew. And I got this Coca-Cola coffee. What do you got? What do you got going? Tony, movie. What are you drinking? Still haven't seen Sparrow yet. Plan on watching it tomorrow. All right. Well, for those of you who are new and are hiding somewhere in the chat somewhere, please consider subscribing. This is Horror and Coffee. This is a channel all about horror movies. We were just talking about Spiral coming out this weekend, your expectations of it. I plan on watching it, plan on reviewing it here on Horror and Coffee so you guys can check it out. Triborough is having juice. I'm drinking Coca-Cola coffee, and Triborough on the chat is having juice, right? And Unboxing also on the chat is having his Mountain Dew, which has a lot of caffeine in it too. So do not underestimate the power of caffeine. Okay. Ooh, somebody gave me a dislike. Oh, I'm all right. Hey, look, again, this is my first time trying this. All right. So here we go. Let's see what else. Let's get back to slashers. Let's talk about my favorite slasher. You know who my favorite slasher is, right? All right, I'm going to show you. Just give me a minute. This is going to be interesting. Where are you? I got you. Hold on. You know, my favorite slasher is obviously Michael Myers. I'm not going to front, right? And Michael Myers, to me, is the godfather of the slasher genre. He was the one that put it on the map. He was the one that, the whole idea that John Carpenter created, right? This John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's creation. Did you know that John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were married? Yeah, they were married. I think they were married while they did this, or maybe after. I don't know. I'm not too sure on the when of it, but they did have a union. Didn't work out. They parted ways after some point. But the concept of Michael Myers as being unexplained evil was John Carpenter's initial idea of this film, which was originally called The Babysitter Murders. It wasn't originally Halloween. And then because it had to do with babysitters, right? He killed the babysitters. But it turned into Halloween, and actually that worked even better because Halloween's always been associated with scary stuff, the witches and goblins and trick or treating and the ghosts, all that kind of stuff. But if one looks into the past, if one goes back and does their research on the origins of Halloween, which was not initially a pagan holiday, it was actually a Christian one. I don't know if many of you know this. There's a reason why it's called Halloween. It's called All Hallows Evening because it's the day before All Hallows, and Hallow means holy, right? And what's cool about that is that the next day after Halloween is November 1st, which happens to be my daughter's birthday, funny enough, but it's also the Day of All Saints in the church calendar. The church has their own calendar and their own, feasts that they celebrate. Initially, that date, All Saints, was in May. And then somewhere in the early Middle Ages, a pope, and I can't think of the pope's name right now, changed it over to November, I guess because he was trying to help make connects for people regarding those who died and who have moved on, because the day after All Saints is All Souls Day, okay, which is when we remember all the people that have passed on. Okay, so there's a distinction there. So All Hallows Evening became Halloween for short over time. The English language kind of like twisted it, and it became secularized. So until it became what we have today, which is a complete different version of what it was originally. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about those original things. Now, is there pagan attributions to it? Yes, there is. Sam Hain, it was around that date, as well was what the ancient Druids and Celtics believed thousands of years ago, when the veil between the dead and the living was very thin, and they thought the dead would sometimes come and visit. Creepy stuff, right? So, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why they moved All Saints and All Souls to November, to get it closer to that, so that, I guess, in the preaching of Christianity, they wanted to help pagans understand, hey, guess what? Yeah, there is people from the dead. Well, guess what? You're right. They're dead and they're over here, but we they can pray for us, and they do all this stuff. So there's a connection. There seems to be a nice mutual understanding between, if understood and learned correctly and researched correctly and objectively, you'll see those connections. But in any case, I hope that gives you a little bit of understanding of that. Now, and so for those of you who didn't see my Halloween presentation last October on my Horror and Coffee channel, I do explain all of this on my channel. Just look it up. But there was a novelization, a book based on the movie that I read only the prologue to, because the prologue was all I needed. That was supposed to kind of explain why Michael Myers did what he did. Okay. And it had something to do with something that happened in the Druid lands in Ireland 3,000 years ago, right? Where a young man who was born with a deformity slaughtered a girl he was in love with at her wedding to somebody else she was espoused to on October 31st, on the Feast of Samhain. They had a big bonfire, and they killed the kid because he had such a rage, right? It was an evil, dark rage. He hated the situation he was in. He hated who he was. He hated everybody around him. And when they killed him, the high priest or whatever condemned his soul to wander the earth forever until he found a host to continue to repeat the in like a never-ending cycle of violence and carnage. And that's kind of what happened to this 6-year-old boy on Halloween night, 1963. He just got, I guess, randomly picked. I actually read elsewhere that there was a familial lineage going back to him that makes that link happen. Again, the novel tries to make a distinction, or tries to explain an origin as to why Michael Myers does what he does. And this actually has nothing to do really with Laurie Strode being his sister or anything like that. It really doesn't. It has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with this innate supernatural rage, which could explain why you can't kill him either. Like, he shot him 6 times, he got up and walked away, right? So that's the whole thing about Michael Myers. That's why I like him so much. He's not as dramatic as Jason Voorhees or Leatherface, but there's a mystery about him, and it's that mystery that captivates me. Sometimes it's what you don't know that scares you, not so much of what you do know. Jason's just pretty much out there, right? He's tripping, right? He runs after you. All Michael has to do is just walk after you. He doesn't even run, and he still gets you. Isn't that some funny crap? Let's go to the chat. Let's see who's talking. Unboxing. I still haven't seen any of the Halloween movies, but I own the 2018 version on digital. Okay. Unboxing. Will you do me a favor and watch 1978 Halloween and Halloween 2? You people know I love the original sequel, Halloween 2, that came out in 1980, right? Was it 80 or 81? I always forget. I think it's 81. Let's see. I'm just trying to read down. Unboxing says, I remember that, and even the time you, Alex, and David were doing the Halloween ranking back in October. Yeah. Actually, I think you're talking about not me, Alex, and David, but me, Alex, and Jamel on my channel. Here, we did top 5 Halloween moments. Is that what you're talking about? Unboxing? Yeah, I guess we'll see. Tony movie chap. Halloween is an all-time classic. Not my favorite film by John Carpenter. Okay, Tony movie. What is your favorite film by John Carpenter? Tell me. You know what my second to favorite film is to Halloween to John Carpenter? This one right here. See, look, check it out. The Fog. Yeah, I love me my Fog. The Fog? Awesome. The cult placed a curse on a child. But you know what's funny? You're talking about the cult of Thorn from Halloween 6. It almost seems like they tried to mimic what was in that original novelization and kind of try to weave that into the plot of Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. But it didn't work. It didn't work, dude. In my opinion, it didn't work. A lot of people like part 6. Personally, I did not like it. I thought it fell flat. It just didn't work out. You know, first of all, they didn't have Danielle Harris. They had another woman play her role as Jamie Lloyd, and they killed her off real quick in the beginning. And that's kind of a drag because I think Danielle Harris should have been in this film as well. You know what I'm saying? Like she, I always keep hearing things. Oh, Danielle Harris, this Danielle Harris, and I'm glad that Rob Zombie used her as to play Annie in his version of Halloween. She's a great actress. She's a great scream queen for not just Halloween, but for other horror films. She knows the business. She knows what people like on the screen. And when you see her in a movie about horror, you're in for a treat. All right. So if you ever run into Danielle Harris in one of those conventions like I did a couple years ago, Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, hey, you know, I have a signed picture of her there when she was the little girl at the end of Halloween 4 when she was in the clown getup holding the scissors. You know, that was a creepy moment, right? All right, let's see. Um, let's see what we got. Yes, I see Halloween 1. Oh, unboxing saying, yes, I will see Halloween 1 and 2 sometime soon. I need to find what streaming service it plays on, but I'll pick up a 4K copy of Halloween and a standard Blu-ray of Halloween 2. Tony Movie Chap says, no, if it's Halloween franchise is just very weird franchise. The only Halloween sequels that I have enjoyed are Halloween 2018 and Halloween Resurrection as a guilty pleasure. Fair enough. The Fog is so underrated. Tribal agreed. The Fog is awesome. Tony Movie Chap says The Thing is my favorite John Carpenter film and my favorite horror of all time. The Thing is amazing. I love The Thing. Did you see the 2011 prequel? That was a prequel. I don't, did you catch that? That it happened. That's what happened to the Norwegian camp that the people in the original John Carpenter film went to investigate. Hey, what's going on? And they found that camp already all burnt up and messed up. That movie, the 2011 film, was about that. But yeah, the practical effects were things that were ahead of its time. I saw that one again. Victor showed it to me at his house. He said, Rob, you got to see this. And he showed me the part when clear, and then the teeth came out and chopped and bit the guy's arms off. And then, oh my God, I was like, holy God, I never saw that before. And Victor was telling me, yo, it's effects. They do this, they do that. And now, how do you know this stuff? Like, it's crazy. Anyway, yeah. At the moment, unboxing saying, at the moment, I'm finishing up on Shrek 2, but hopefully I will see the OG Halloween as soon as possible. Yeah, please. It's a John Carpenter has his selection. We Alex and I should do a horror files on just John Carpenter movies, right? Get some facts on John Carpenter and what he's done over the years. I saw it on Precinct 13, Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, Vampires, They Live, movies like that, Ghost from Mars. Not too crazy about Ghost from Mars, I have to admit. Didn't really hit me in the right spot. Yeah. So, all right. I'm finishing up Shrek 2, but hopefully I will see the. Okay, I already saw. All right, so we have the. Let's talk about the last slasher that I have here waiting for us, and I am talking about. Hold up. I'm talking about Freddy Krueger. I have personally a kind of love-hate relationship with the with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I do. And the reason why is because that movie has seen so many incarnations. Here we go. Of here's a good old Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. I feel like it's not. I think it stayed good up to maybe part 3. And then it kind of went the same way it went with the Friday the 13th franchise after part 4. It kind of got stupid. All right. Freddy stopped being scary. He started becoming more comical. It's as if he turned from being a ghoul to a comedian. Everything had a joke, everything had a side thing. Right. And I mean, my favorite post part 3, like I think this was in part 4 actually. And he was like, "What a suck face!" And then he just literally dried up this girl. I was like, that was great. Every time I see that part, I couldn't believe. I was like, okay, I give you that. That was good. That was good. But that was it. That was it. Everything else was kind of like weird. I liked Wes Craven's New Nightmare because I kind of liked the angle there. It was different. It was kind of like okay, imagine it being like this, right? It kind of ignores all the other, films, except for maybe, the first original one. I kind of like that. I saw Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. That was weird. It kind of ended really fast. And it was in 3D, if I remember. I remember wearing 3D glasses to that one because when they exploded, you see his head heading towards you, screaming as they blew him up, you know? And she was like, Freddy is dead. And that was the end of it. And I was like, all right. And then the music came on and that was the end of the movie. I remember that. Man, let me tell you, there's a lot of things with Freddy, and Freddy is funny. Okay, Triborough goes, if you think about it, 3 to 5 is really a trilogy of the franchise that included the Dream Warriors. Christian appears in part 4, and before she dies, gives Alice her dream powers. Yeah, you see, there it's all like a blur to me because to me, those films were kind of like I felt like they were too blended together. Like there was too many weird things going on. Um, like the story of the nun, Amanda Kruger, who was Freddy's mom, that she got raped by 1,000 locals. I was like, what? How's that even physically possible? Only one sperm can go into one egg, and that's it. You can't have like 20 million sperm go into one egg and create a being from that. That's not even physically. Maybe I'm nitpicking here because it takes away from the artistry or poetic ironism, irony of the idea of who Freddy is. Remember, Freddy is a spiritual. He's different from the other killers of the 80s because he's a spiritual being. He's not a physical being. They try to make him physical, right? He even wanted to be physical in part 2, right? You got the body, I got the brain. Remember that guy, right? That whole thing. He wanted to come back into the physical realm because he used to be part of the physical realm. The remake of Nightmare on Elm Street that came out in 2010 try to home in on the humanity that he was before he was killed by the parents, because after he got off scot-free of doing all these terrible things to their children and stuff like that. I didn't like that remake. It's not memorable. I don't even have a copy of it. I know it's on HBO Max, and I just gleam over it. I'll be like, I don't want to watch that crap. It's still, it doesn't have the same feel as, I'm sorry, Robert Englund. Like, I can't think of anybody else that can do, who can do Freddy Krueger like Robert Englund has. And I understand he's older, and it's not like he can't do it. He can still kind of do it. All right, it's just makeup here. You can do all the makeup stuff, but it's like, I like the fact that Robert Englund does these little cameos here and there that still emphasize, still kind of like hints at this. I'll give you an example. There was a movie about Jack the Ripper that Johnny Depp was in called From Hell, and there's a scene where he plays like a bad guy, in the alleys of East London, and they're harassing one of the prostitutes. They eventually get killed by Jack the Ripper, and you see him there. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, "It's Freddy!" Like it worked right there. It was great. It was great. I mean, Robert Englund is a legend. Okay, and he's done other stuff, of course, but he's never. Nobody has ever been able to, like, not the actor, to all due respect to the one who played Freddy Krueger in the 2010 remake. Nobody has been able to like trump that. And I think it's going to be a very long time before somebody does. Let's see what we got here. Final send off. They need the story of Amanda Krueger included for a proper EMI Street prequel. Tell the story of how Freddy became one of the most. You know what? I would like that. I would like that. That's a good idea. Triborough, that's a good idea. Like imagine that, making a since everybody's making prequels nowadays. My God, like make a prequel about how, from, yeah, like about his mom and who his real dad is. Forget this whole thing about 1,000 maniacs or whatever in the sanitarium, they all gang rape. No. Let's really bring it down a little bit. Oh my God. I got ideas already. I would make, how you people always say you're a Ralph director. I'll direct that joint. I got ideas. Ooh, do I got ideas? Yeah, Jackie Earl Haley wasn't the problem with that remake. I agree. It's not the actor. It's not the actor. That's not what did it for me. It was kind of the way the story was presented. It wasn't the actor. I agree with you. But then at the same time, as good an actor as he is, there's only one Robert Englund who can really portray this character the way this character has always been portrayed, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that somebody eventually comes. But if they make a prequel about his mother, about him being raised, how he grew up, what happened to him growing up, how he became this eventually, I would pay to watch that. If you do it right and not be all with all the jokes and all the silliness and all that, like want to suck face, all that bull crap, even though it's funny. Take all that out, right? Make it serious, make it dark, make it mysterious, right? And make it very creative with its angles. You'll get something. People will flock to see that. I promise you. So, for those of you who don't know what I've been drinking, Coca-Cola with coffee, 0 sugar. So I'm not gaining any calories here. However, I am awake, and I'm gonna actually call it off here because I don't want to go too long. I know Alex likes to go 2 hours, and I'm trying, but I'm gonna actually end it here. This is Ralph's Coffee with Ralph. Oh man, I had a good time. I can't, I feel like, what else? I feel like, okay, I've gone over some slashers, I've gone over some horror stuff. You know, you want to see something cool? Here's some slashers. Here's some slashers. I have pop figures before I show. Here's my show and tell. Here's Michael Myers. Michael Myers, right? Pop figure. Isn't that cool? And I also have Jason Voorhees. You know, how many of you have actually how many of you have known people that confused these two characters? Confused them. I have. Like, oh yeah, Michael Myers, that's the one who drowned in the lake. I was like, oh Jesus. I get mad. And he's not the first time. It's not the first time I hear it. Because somebody be wearing a Jason mask and be Michael Myers, and I'd be like, oh my god, no, that's Jason, not Michael. How many of you have had that? You know. Thank you, Triborough. I will try. I need to. Thank you. It's a small show. It has its everything has small beginnings, right? Only a couple of you here. I appreciate you guys, Triborough, Tony Movie Chap, and Unboxing. The three of you. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging out with me for an hour, for a little while, here on Coffee with Ralph, here on Horror and Coffee. And I pray that this gets better. And I'm using the StreamYard software, which is an online software you can just go to and start open up your own account with. But I have OBS, which is I think what Alex uses, and what David uses. But it's still, there's more of a learning curve there that makes things a little bit more complex for me. I kind of prefer this. It's simple. Sometimes less is more. Like Alex is awesome with the things he has. Like he has a freaking spaceship in his room here, with the sound effects. I really don't have much of that, but I appreciate the three of you very much for being with me tonight, and I appreciate those of you who are going to watch the replay. If you stuck around longer, this is Horror and Coffee. I review movies. I drink coffee. I do both. And I do Star Wars stuff, and I do other kinds of cool pop culture phenomena. Please consider subscribing. Tap on the bell for future notifications. Please also consider going to my buddy Alex's channel, Levels of Geeks. Where I tend to show up now and then to help Alex out with the horror files. We have a show called Horror Files, and if he has a topic about horror on the main shows he does on Mondays and Wednesdays, I tend to invade there and give my 2 cents about what's going on. I appreciate this very much. Guys, thank you, Triborough. I'm going to try to do this particular segment on my channel once a month, every second Thursday night of the month at 9 p.m. That's kind of where my target is right now, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to plug this in the next few weeks. That way we can get more people here next time, all right? I just decided to give this a shot a couple of days ago, so I didn't really have enough time to put this up. But I hope that I'll be able to get more in. So until next time, guys, I'll see you on the Levels of Geeks world, and take care. All right. God bless you guys. Later.